Welcome. What's going on? Happy New Year. A little bit late. We'll do that, right? We'll have a little celebration here. Couple things to celebrate. First of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank the audience, no doubt about it. But I also really want to thank my sponsors, right? Melon, a division of Logitech. Now, this particular video is not sponsored by Melon, but I am sponsored by Melon. And we had a little short-term thing going. First of all my personal opinion only, not alleging any facts, not casting any aspersions, all for entertainment purposes only. Please check the disclaimers, etc. And you know, we tried it out for a little bit, and I have to. Those of you on LinkedIn that follow me know, but I am pleased to report that we have just done a multi-year thing here, and they've extended a long-term deal. So very exciting. I will be rocking Melon, and we're coming to you via Melon right now. So we really appreciate that. We'll be focusing a lot on business content. That was already the focus anyway. I mean, so this is nothing new. It just, in my opinion, there happens to be some tremendous synergy. And I want to get right into automotive. We're going to talk about that, a lot to talk about. But we really want to really own that lane. Like, there's very few people, and this is kind of, it all comes together. Like, if you followed me, and I'll talk about this later, I'm gonna get too distracted in it, but you know, that's the John D. Villarreal Digital Ventures project, right? I mean, there's a confluence right now on digital media and business, tech, startups, all that type of stuff. It definitely has a big impact on automotive. There's so many of these things coming together, and you have people in that digital media world, the influencer world, the broadcast world. A lot of times they really don't have expertise in business, and vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, and that really does relate to automotive and what we're going to talk about today. And so there's a lot to talk about here. I want to go live earlier. I've got 4.5-year-old daughter. If you follow me, you know she's amazing. Mom and her came home, and there was a little pizza party, and I had to you know, spend time with my daughter and everything like that. It is what it is. We're live now, and we love that, and she's the best. In fact, later for my YouTube audience, we're probably going to do some live art, and she's just getting better and better. She's incredible. All right, now automotive. So I don't have everything super laid out, but I have enough, and I'm an expert in automotive. If you don't know that, check out my stuff. I don't want to sit here and drop resume, but I was one of the top in the country, in my opinion, for Audi. I was a sales manager at one of the top stores for Audi in the country. I was sales manager for pre-owned sales manager for Ferrari, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, and I know there's a lot of people on my LinkedIn that have tremendous expertise in automotive. And there's a lot of people that have tremendous expertise in tech and venture and stuff, right? And I've got some great founders out there, some great VCs out there. But I don't think you can, it would be very, very hard to find someone who's actually been in pitch meetings on Sand Hill Road, right? Many times, who knows these VCs, who has been to Sequoia, who's been to Redpoint, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and is an expert in automotive. Like, you know, has sold all these cars, has broken records, has been on the lot with customers, has been in the management meetings. And I mean, I don't know that you can find, I mean, I'm sure there's always someone, right? But it's almost, I mean, it'd be so hard to find someone with that dual experience, plus the media experience, major market talk radio, you know, former host of national TV, and now obviously, you know, live online, et cetera, like that. So that's kind of the setup. And I only say that to set this up because we're going to dive into this. So again, it's just going to happen in real time. I haven't laid everything out. I've laid enough out, but we're going to put some pieces in place. This is going to be an ongoing conversation. We're going to be talking to some of the real experts in automotive. And it used to be like when I got into business before, people, oh, it's never going to change. People want to touch the metal. People, the art of salespersonship and all these things you used to hear about. This all kicked off, in my opinion, at least for me, because the head of, I'm going to try to get this exactly right here, the head of automotive retail for Meta, which is, you know, used to be Facebook, right? Meta, all of that. Bob Lanham, seems like a really cool guy, posted something on his page and on LinkedIn, and he posted something, and I'm gonna try to just skim some of this stuff about Carvana, talking about their, you know, it was quote unquote route to ready Carvana customer experience. And a lot of people that are big in the industry were posting there, and I mean, you had big names like Matt Kavanaugh, Brian Kramer, right, and these are people that are very experienced and very successful, right? So, and I totally respect that, but I had my perspective that I wanted to step up with, and I'm not going to speak for other people, and hopefully we'll have some of those big names on the show. But like, this is my characterization. Again, I'm not alleging anything. This is my characterization. But Brian was like, "Oh, there's a lot to learn from that, quote unquote, a lot to be learned from that video," and went on to say what he's going to say. And you can check this out on LinkedIn. And I have tremendous respect for Brian. He's obviously been very successful. Runs a dealership over there in Naples, general manager. So, and he's been in the business for a long time, right? And so, his experience and expertise in automotive definitely eclipses mine. So I respect that. But I had some specific, again, he doesn't have my other experience that I have. And I came at this in a different way, and I kind of responded to it. So I'll say what I said, right? And my response to him is, and I'll read it, I can read my own stuff, right? I mean, I respect your expertise and success in auto, but your statement, quote unquote, a team is that's driven by passion rather than money is tough to beat. And let me table that for a second, because I want to set the table. With what Bob's post was. His post with the Carvana post. And the Carvana post was basically, one quote that Bob used was, customer experience will always be our guiding light. And they kind of went through the Carvana experience. There's a YouTube ad there, and hey, we have a 7-day return policy, and hey, we really do, try to show all the great pictures and everything, and it's all about the customer experience and stuff. And that's all great, but I think where there's a miss is, let me say what I said, because I think it sets it up much better. And I spent some time writing this last night, and then I'll kick it off from there. But at a super high level, what you have with Carvana is really a business model different than Tesla. People were down on Tesla, and I know board members of Tesla, and I've been a fan of Tesla, and I remember when Tesla first launched, and I was, I saw the original Roadster Mountain, not the first one, but I saw, one of these. I was there early, right? And yeah, so I mean, it's but I don't want to sit here and drop names. It doesn't matter, right? But very, very impressed with Elon. Very, very impressed with Tesla. I will say, I'll say this much in my opinion. I knew Aaron Price, who's one of their board members, and he used to be with Technology Partners, and I got invited to certain events and stuff like that. And geez, Stephen, I had Mario left California, wish I could have gone to all of them. I mean, just insanely impressive what they've been able to do. But that's very different because they have a technology. They have a technology. So it's in many ways, it's in a business model and all the rest. And we'll get into that. But in many ways, that's, and obviously, Iron, incredibly impressive team, incredibly impressive board, all of it, right? And so much, Stanford, all over the place on that company, in my opinion. And from what I remember, remember correctly. I mean, I know Elon and Ira, I believe, was or Stanford. I may be wrong. But very brilliant people there. And they're changing the game in a more traditional Silicon Valley way with technology and all that type of stuff. Of course, there's business model and all of that type of stuff. And there's also problems with that business model in some ways, but they're being addressed, right? With infrastructure, I think there's like 45,000 charging stations. But I mean, dude, how many cars are there, right? So they just sold almost a million cars. So, there's still a lot of work to do in the infrastructure, but I don't get hung up on that. Carvana, their sort of business model, as I understand it, is, listen, people don't want to deal with, this is my characterization, my personal opinion characterization. People don't want to deal with dealerships. A lot of money gets paid to, staff and sales and this and that, whatever. And, people want price transparency. Let's get rid of all the salespeople. Let's have these vending machines. We'll use technology to do everything. People want to buy online. They know what price they're going to get. We'll spend that money that we would have paid a sales staff or whatever, and we'll just put that into, reconditioning the vehicles better, make them look great, and sell them for a better price. In other words, cut the margin out of the staffing, right? And just put it into the cars and deliver at a better price. On paper, and I mean, it's like, I feel like I was like, could be a fly on the wall for that meeting in Silicon Valley. Like I feel like I could almost feel how that went, right? I'd love to see the pitch deck on that. And I could almost hear the words because I've been to so many of these pitch meetings, right? And it would be something exactly, it's pretty similar to what I just said, which is, hey, you know what? The car business is, the new car business is this. The used car business is 3 times more. What do people hate about the car buying business? They hate how long it takes. They hate feeling like they don't get a good deal, and they hate the high pressure sales tactics, and they hate feeling like they get a bad deal. Great, we're gonna get rid of all that. We're gonna use technology. We're gonna cut out the sales staff. I mean, I don't know that that's how it went, but that's my characterization. But it wouldn't surprise me if it went something like that, right? So that's the business model, but very different with Carvana because that's a business model, different than a technology with Tesla, right? So anyone can, well, not anyone. That's not quite right. I don't feel that that business model of Carvana, and it's a business model. No need for air quotes on that. It's certainly a business model. I don't feel that, in my opinion, that that's as defensible, if you will, of a competitive advantage as Tesla is with their technology and their brand, right? So, do people, and that's a really good point, actually. The brand of Tesla, people care about that brand. People care about that brand the way, I'm not making a comparison, but I'm just, a general characterization, like Apple. Do people care about the brand of Carvana? And we'll talk about customer experience and customer loyalty here in a second. Okay, so, right. So you have this business model, and you have these big vending machines, and they're going up in different cities. Now, remember, here's something interesting here. I've just pulled this up. A couple thing is, this is brand new. This is just today that basically the shares of Carvana are down. Right, last July. This is on Nasdaq.com. This is an article by BNK Invest, and basically Carvana was up to a high of like 350. Now they're down to like below 200. Now I'm not saying that's end all be all or anything like that. Another thing says, this is another one today. Analysts expect break even for Carvana before long. Okay, so they're not even profitable yet, right? So they have a $34 billion market cap, posted a loss in the most recent financial quarter. So again, you can give people deals if you're losing money. Now, wow, they have to build the vending machines. Okay, great. But I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm making no calls here. I'm definitely not giving any financial advice, and everything you do is at your own risk. But what I'm saying is, it's, people say, oh, they said that about Amazon. They said that about Tesla. Yes, but those are different. It's harder. Well, I'll try to explain this. Now, do you believe that Carvana is going to change the way that everybody buys a used car? I don't. I think that they are obviously having an impact. I'm not saying that they aren't doing innovative things. I'm not saying that they aren't a company that's doing some things that you clearly have to pay attention to in the automotive space. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, what are they really doing, right? So, and that's what you have to ask yourself. Now, let's analyze this, right? So if you look at, I'm just trying to set the table, and then we're going to dive into all this because there's just so much to talk about. I mean, I know this is maybe slightly less entertaining, but there's just tremendous amounts of information that we have to sort of go through this. I think the next step that I need to do, well, let me just set the table with some quick news, and I'll talk about what I said, and then we'll go from there into real, serious analysis. So if you're looking at this later, depending on what you want to do, you may want to skip ahead to that or whatever, and then that's fine. Tesla delivered almost 1 million cars in 2021. That's insane. That is so insane. I mean, that was up like close to 100%. It was an 87% increase. This is by The Verge. Emma Roth did this on January 2nd. That is so insane. Seems like there's a lot of volatility to Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid stocks, right? This is Motley Fool by Rich Smith. And so there's a lot of activity in that. Another thing to think about, Tesla model, another article here, Car and Driver. by John Volker, January 5th. Tesla Model S goes 752 miles with a prototype battery from a Michigan startup. Range has always been one of the big, if not the big, issues in, electric. So that's a huge deal right there, right? Now, okay. So let's dive into what did I say, okay? And let's see if I can just go to that right now. So my response is not that I'm not saying that Carvana is not very important. I'm not saying that traditional dealerships shouldn't get disrupted. They're absolutely. Here's my let me give the punchline. The reason why I think that Carvana is doing part of it, in my opinion, is doing so well is because the customer experience for many people, in my opinion, according to surveys, I believe, was so bad for so long with traditional dealerships. And that's part of why people are like, hey, forget it. I want something different. So just being able to avoid that in terms of time, in terms of pressure, in terms of concern about maybe getting a bad deal is a huge competitive advantage. But how stable is that, defensible is that, or how transitory is that? In other words, if everybody started doing that, if everyone went to the CarMax model, right, which was one price, transparency, and they're the biggest used car in the used car market, right? Then, how much do people care about Carvana? Well, in other words, why is Carvana better than CarMax? We're a little faster and okay. But I mean, I can go to, and I haven't followed all the latest and greatest with Carvana, but for a long, long time, you can drive to CarMax if you want to sell your car. And within depending on how busy they are, under an hour, you can get an offer to buy your car on the spot. And we can get into logistics and how long it takes and whatever. But I mean, a lot of people went to CarMax to sell their cars or at least to get offers. And I mean, when I was working in dealerships, people would come in with their CarMax offers all the time. So, obviously they're doing some things that are working out there in the marketplace, in my opinion. Now, okay, so what did I say? I first responded to Bob and I'm like, look, I don't think it's an either or. I think it's both and more, right? And I talked about my background in auto and stuff like that. I said, I think the auto business was long overdue for disruption, in my opinion. A lot of people with big titles and big paychecks in the auto business, in my opinion, frankly, didn't want to believe it could happen to their industry too. I talked about the art of salespersonship, the people need to touch the mental relationships, super closers, sales systems, and you hear all these things, processes. And it's like, hell no, you test drive before this or after this, or then the trial close, and it's all the same things. 5 steps, 7 steps, 10 steps to the sale. Usually it's about 7. It's always listen, it's the same deal, right? In my opinion, by and large, right? You're just shuffling different things around. Doesn't mean it's not important. Doesn't mean it is important. It's all important. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. Obviously it works, right? But you are putting someone through a process that they may, listen, it's an interesting thing. Different people want different things. And in some ways that traditional sales process works, that retail process works really well still today. And in some ways, some people don't want to deal with that. I'm busy. Hey, I'm an executive. Your time may be worth, $500, $1,000, $2,000 an hour. Who knows? Whatever. It doesn't matter. You just don't want to deal with it, right? I mean, if I can order, whatever online, why can't I order, my car online? So I get that, and that's where things are going. I understand that. Obviously, Tesla's done something very, very different with the, staff and the iPads and everything and the demonstrations, and you order it comes. So they were already working in that zone. Volvo, others are doing some subscription stuff. There's a lot of things that are happening to sort of disrupt the auto space. So I think there was a lot of sort of head in the sand in the auto business for a long, long time. And I knew that was going to be disrupted. But also too is, as these different disruptors came in, as part of what I said is, and I'm not trying to diss anyone. I'm not trying to say I've got all the answers or anything like that. Far from it. I think I have a lot of answers, and I have a lot of insight that many people in automotive and in tech don't understand. Again, it's these cross skills. This is the thing. You can say that I worked at Facebook, I worked at this place and this place and this place and whatever, and that's great. Have you ever sold a car? No. Have you ever worked on the car? No. Okay. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like if you're going to, I don't care if tech does whatever, you're going to be in this space, it helps to have some knowledge in this space. I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm talking to just general. And so, yes, that's a massive, massive, massive space, and it helps to understand that space. So I think that, I don't know if either side understands or respects another enough, maybe. But listen, I think that a lot of people in the traditional auto space, they didn't understand. They still don't understand the tech. They don't understand the business models. They don't understand, a lot of that. Now they have a lot of. So what happens is you have these, and you also have to understand. I'm having to deal with it right now. I mean, I have friends in the space. I got some things I'm working on, some big things, whatever. Cross your fingers. We'll see. But I also know. Oh, man. I also know you don't count on anything until it's like. That's another story, in my opinion. And again, everything, all my opinion, only knowledge, and facts, not cash and spurs, and check out all the disclaimers. But I know there's certain times it's just as close as it's going to be almost impossible to get a hold of my buddies in the auto business. I just know it. I know it's whether it's a Saturday or whether it's the end of the month or what, different things are going. I just know, and there's the other times where it's downtime and people I haven't heard from for whatever, like, oh, hey, what do you know? Okay. It's like, I haven't heard, like I needed something 6 months ago. Like what, and so it's things like that. That's fine. Just got a text right here. The perfect example. Just trying to get a hold. And then 1 second. Who knows? Maybe he's watching. We'll see. And that dude's a legend, right? And so, in my opinion, in auto. And so that's just how it goes. And what happens with that is that is live. We love live. And I actually do love live. That business is a constant treadmill. Like you don't understand, right? And Gary Vaynerchuk said something that was really awesome about what success is. Success is you can make, I think Gary was saying something like you can make 55 grand, but be able to manage your own time, and that's success, right? Or you can do, if you have basically control and freedom are success. I totally agree with that. In the automotive business, you can make buckets and buckets of money depending on what level you are at. And certainly way back when I talked to people that were in the business a long time ago, and that's when they made big money. And this is why it needed to get disrupted, because you had people that, and I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but you had people without college degrees, without MBAs, without any of that were making six figures. I can take, I'm not making any claims. Let me rephrase that. It wouldn't surprise me if I could train someone with the right dealership, the right pay plan, the right city, the right brand, right now, today, with no experience to make six figures this year in the car business. It wouldn't surprise me if I could do that. I think I'm that good, in my opinion. And number two, without a college degree. Now, I'm not saying it's anybody. I'm not making any claims. I'm not making any guarantees or anything like that. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me, right? My opinion personally, because I know how good I am. And so it's there's a lot of money in it. There's a lot more money that used to be in it. So of course those margins, now that doesn't make sense. That's not really sustainable, right? So of course those margins were going to be compressed. And this is, you have a massive, massive industry with tremendous amounts of money in it. And people are like, hey, does that make sense? The only thing sustainable in a competitive market is to add value. Add value. Add value. That's it, period. If you are delivering value, then you should get, that's value equals revenues. Value equals revenues. It's as simple as that. So people get caught up in a customer experience and this, and I'm gonna shoot holes, in my opinion, logically through that whole thing. And I'm not dissing anyone. I'm just trying to give people different perspectives. Again, I respect everybody. So yes, the automotive business was a process that people didn't like for a long time. The automotive business had a lot of money in it. The automotive business had big margins in it. Of course, you were going to have other competitors. Tech disrupted everything else. Why wouldn't it disrupt that business? Of course it was going to disrupt that business. And we're going to talk to all kinds of automotive experts. There's all kinds of other things to talk about. It's going to be more ongoing, shows and conversations, but I want to stay focused on this one because there's so much to talk about, and I appreciate you guys staying with me on this one. Okay, so that's the setup. So in that context, I was talking to Bob and I said, listen, the automotive business, of course they were going to be disruptive. They thought they had something that was basically wasn't going to be disrupted. I never thought that was true. I've been telling people for years. You can ask my bosses, people work with me. I've been telling for years, this is coming. This is coming. It's going to happen. Long before people were writing about it, I've been saying it. Oh, no. Oh, now it's here. Now I will get calls from them. Hey, what do I do? Okay, well, I told you, right? And a great general manager once told me, that we're talking about different things, and I will say I worked for some really cool people, and some better than others, but some I got lucky, right? That respected me, respected my degrees, let me do my thing, and understood. I still had to do the things that everyone else had to do. Hopefully, I did them better, but I also was able to do a lot of other things. Do a radio show when I was working in a car dealers, do different things like that. So that's cool, and so but a lot of the people in the business that I've seen again, I'm not generalizing, this is my personal experience. They didn't understand the tech. That's why you have all these third-party, vendors that will come in and, they've got the end-all be-all. Hey, this is the new CRM, or this is the new process, or this is the new app, or whatever, and it's going to do this, and it's going to sell you 10 more, 5 more, 20 more cars, and some of them were better than others. Some of them work. Listen, everything works. Right? By and large, right? I mean, if all I do is text people all day, that'll sell a car. If all I do is do Facebook all day and I'm good at it, that'll sell a car. If I sit out on the sign, twirl a sign, that'll probably sell a car, right? If you do anything enough, you do it right, some things work better than others, obviously, right? You can't do everything. So you have to figure out what you want to do. I had a process, I had a system. The best person that, I've worked with the best. And I know what works. I've seen different people have different systems, but we all kind of approach things somewhat similarly. And that's a whole different thing. I'll probably do some sales training. I've got to get on that. I've got to do my communication training. I have so many different things I got to do, but it's fine. And I'm on it. Believe me, I'm on it. So this is where the car business was and is, in my opinion. You have people that, oh yeah, I get it. I went to a seminar, and then they get back, and I'm not punking anybody out because I fully get it. You get back, and what are you? You're on that treadmill. Some of these people, they can't even call home. Okay? You have to understand what, the quotas, they never end. Hey, you did a good job, John. Great job. Okay. You started as a hero. Now you're a zero. So what are you going to do next month? That's how it goes. That's it. That's how it goes. And I get it. So in that context, especially if you're up here and you're used to making those big checks, you can't even breathe, let alone try to do something strategic and set something up that might really move the needle. So that's the auto business. All right. Now on the tech side, here's where tech has a bit of a blind spot. And what I said here on Bob Lanham's thing. On the tech side, Silicon Valley tech thinks that tech or algorithms solve everything. Right? Oh, we got this business model and there's margin in it, and we're going to cut it out. We're going to solve it with technology. It's great. Okay, well, there's maybe I think that's an incomplete way to look at that. And number one and number two, there could be some problems on this. And again, I'm just looking at some news reports here. Here's a news report, right? If you don't have staff, when something goes wrong, this isn't a toaster. When something goes wrong, people want someone to talk to. People want someone to help solve their problem. People want someone that can actually, figure something out. This isn't like a $10, $20 toaster that you buy at a big box store. This is a $20, $30, $50, $100, $200, $500,000 car. Depends on what it is. I need someone to help me out right now. I don't have a title for my car. I can't drive my car. Hey, I'm out of state. Hey, I bought it over here. Or hey, I got a scratch in it. Or hey, it wasn't washed right. Or this isn't working. Or whatever. Everything comes up. Are you kidding me? Everything comes up. So now you have nobody. What's the staffing level in these vending machines? I don't know. I'm just asking, right? And so here you've got a story at News Channel 8, right? WFLA by Shannon Benkin, December 17th. Headline: Florida threatens to pull Carvana's dealer license over ongoing title issues. And I don't want to sit here and I'm not singling anything out, whatever like that. You can check out the article. But, there's that, right? So again, if you don't have a full F&I staff, if you don't have a full title and processing staff, there's, that's something that dealerships have. And I remember, dude, you've got to do you sell a car and then 2 weeks, 3 months, not 2 months, but, whatever. Some period of time after, it could be a week, could be a day, whatever, you have to continue to follow up with that client. Is everything okay? What's going on? Hey, how do, and sometimes you have, WIOs and things you have to follow up with them. Who's following up with you with Carvana? I don't know. I've never bought a car from them. But if the business model is we're going to get rid of this staffing and these high salaries to be able to address, I just saw a post from a big executive in the restaurant business about pricing and different things they're going to do there so they can pay staff to give good service. I mean, you can't have, this is what I'm saying. You can't have top level. It's very, very hard. They try to do it with technology. I get it, and productivity, but it's very hard to have top level service with budget pricing, right? Those two things don't go together. And also people no less than the great Marcelo Claure, and I hope I pronounced that right, of SoftBank. Listen, how many times are people so sick of dialing in and now you have robo responses, you can't get to a real person, stuff like that. And I switched to, and this is no one's paying, again, no one's sponsoring other than Mellon generally with my with my channel, with our partnership and channel, whatever, but no one's sponsoring specifically this video. And it's for everything I'm saying is all my personal opinion and my true honest opinion, etc. like that. Check out the disclaimers. But I called T-Mobile and I was, and because I switched from Sprint to T-Mobile and there was a merger and everything like that. And I needed something. I don't want to get into all that because that's not the point of this. Maybe I'll talk about that later at some point. But I got to real people. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is great. And they were helpful. And everything's cool. It took a little bit and back and forth, whatever. But every time I called, I could get a real person. It didn't take me long. And I think I saw something because I did the SoftBank operator school. And I think they were talking about that and how that was important, if I remember right. And it's hugely important, right? People want to deal with people. So getting back to this post, listen, I know this is longer. It's going to be a little bit longer show, but there's so much to talk about and dump into this that to really understand it, in my opinion. And we're not even going to be able to cover all of it now. So continued. As what I put here to Bob Lanham, the head of automotive retail at Meta, right? Facebook, Instagram, Messenger. The problem with the tech side is what if you want to drive the car and truck? What happens if something goes wrong? What if I can't get my title in time, right? It's a huge purchase, everything I just said, right? And that's the other thing too. There's a little bit, in my opinion, this is my opinion, my personal opinion, my characterization. In some ways, there's a little bit of a cheat potentially, let me put it that way. There's a little bit of a potential cheat going on. Now, I'm not talking about any company specifically. I'm not talking about any company specifically, not Carvana, not any company specifically. I'm just saying in general with tech and online, right? When it comes to cars and even products, right? How many people will go shop retail and then buy online? A ton of people. A lot of people do that, right? So the fact that I think with Carvana would have in my opinion, now I'll switch. I think people would have a hard time. I would be surprised if Carvana sells as many cars right now today. You can't look in the future because there should be growth, right? Right now today, if there weren't retail outlets where people can go look at and drive and test drive cars right now. You know how many times I've had people come to my dealership, if I was working at a dealership, drive a car there, but they had another one lined up that they thought was a better price, or it was I had brand new, they had used, but they wanted to test drive the car to see if they liked it. Dude, that happens all the time, especially for higher end cars. How do I know if a minivan will fit my family or extended family of 5 people, 6 people, 7 people, 8 people, if I don't test it? How do I know if it'll fit the car seat? How do I know if I like to drive? I'm not spending $100,000 on or 200, 300, 500 on a sports car without driving it. I'm not doing that. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, maybe if you're super duper rich and you can flip it. It doesn't matter if you don't like it, whatever. But if you're somewhere, if that's your only car, you're not doing that. Not many people are doing that, right? I mean, so that has to be considered. So, I mean, again, all this online, you can give me all the pictures that you want. That doesn't tell me how that car fits, feels, drives, everything, right? And where's the salespersonship? The computer, online? Yes, some of it. And that may be what Brian Kramer's getting with the passion. And I was like, look, things go wrong. At the end of the day, people want people that they trust to talk to them, help them if they need help. Look at the personal, non-investment real estate, the yacht, the customized private jet markets. I think all those give some insight. Exactly right. You know how much time, I don't care if you're super rich, you know how much time some of these people spend on their custom house, spend on their custom jet, spend on their yachts? Tons. Okay? Tons. And I get it, right? There's so much to talk about here. And you have to, and this is my bottom line. You have to ask what do customers want and what do they respond to? What are they buying and what motivates them? If they just want the, if they've had, this is their 5th Honda Civic and they're going to get another one, they already know what it is, maybe it's a little bit better, and then sure, price, convenience, all that. I get it. If you're changing brands, you have changing needs. If you're spending a lot of money, all kinds of stuff come up. And that, frankly, when you talk about the exotic market, I mean, dude, you can give me, again, I used to work for Ferrari dealership. You can give me all the pictures in the world. I used to send all kinds of pictures and videos, whatever. Guess what? They're going to have some buyers that are going to come in there. They're going to inspect it. They're going to send someone there. They're going to have the paint, laser things, everything like that. They're going to check, just microscope that condition because condition matters so much in that market. I mean, it's crazy. Some of those could be potentially, again, not alleged anything, everything you do is at your own risk, everything like that. But some of those could be collector vehicles. Some of those cars aren't even going to be driven much, right? Maybe at all. And so you can't get that from the vending machine type of thing, in my opinion. And again, I can be proven wrong on all this. This is just my opinion right now. Doesn't mean people won't learn to do something different. Listen, the only thing constant is change. Everything changes. I get that. And I'm all about that. I've been trying to change the car business, right? So, okay, that was a setup there, right? Now, another point. And I said what I said with Brian. And then I've put another point about the customers. Now, this is very important. You need to hang with me on this one. And if you have any comments, I'll take your questions and comments in the chat over here, and I'll put them on screen, and we'll talk about it. But this is very important. This is what I mean by customers. Because some people what happens in the automotive business, and this happens in business in general. I know Gary Vee, he's pushing all what he's pushing, right? And that's cool. And I'm not commenting on that. But all of a sudden, it's the latest and greatest thing. It's hi. Oh, sorry, it's my daughter. So, what's going on? Okay. Apparently, my wife just went to sleep. Okay, I'll try to. Okay, shut the door, please. Okay, she's gonna come over here. She loves being on camera. She's amazing. But you have to shut the door if mommy's sleeping. Okay. All right. Sorry. It's okay. All right. So what happens is this. This is let's just keep with this. Live TV. Live, it's okay. I've got a 4.5-year-old daughter. If you know what it is. She's the best, and we're gonna probably do some live drawing later. She's amazing. She loves being on camera. Okay, this is very important. So they get all into it's all about customer experience, or it's all about passion, and this happens all the time. I call it sales math in the car business, which is, hey, if everyone did this, then all the salespeople would sell 2 more cars, 1 more, and you sell 1 more car a month, and then you're making that's much more money. And if we all did it, we're selling 10 more cars and 30 more cars, and we hit our objectives. That all sounds great. Guess what? That doesn't work. You don't have the inventory. Not everyone's going to sell the same, et cetera. You don't have enough F&I, all these things. It's inputs, outputs. It's everything from operations. I learned in an MBA class and just experience, right? It's never that easy. Plus, I've also said, I want to work with the winners, right? It's so much easier when I'm training someone to take someone who's a 10, 15 car salesperson and push them up to 20, 25, 30 than take someone from a 2, 3, 5 and get them to 10. Now, I've done both, in my opinion, or I could do both, in my opinion. Can't remember everything. But there's reasons why, there's a lot of things that go into that. I don't want to I'll say that for the training stuff. But what happens is in the business, you have people thinking exactly the opposite, because I was a 30 car, plus. I mean, my best ever 36 and a half in 1 month at luxury, at an Audi store. That was insane. Broke all the records. I did it within months, broke all the records. And then I did 29 plus cars in 90-day average, which is that's the benchmark, because you can have a big month and usually what happens, you're here, and then next month you're here because you have to do all the follow-up, and so it's like a roller coaster. So to be able to fly at that altitude, record-breaking altitude, I averaged in 90 days more than the previous record that stood for like 30 years in that dealership. And it wasn't a huge dealership. It was like a C-level dealership. Out of like 220, 250, whatever, it was like in the hundreds, right? In terms of volume. So that was insane. That was insanely good. And I can sit here and drop all the resume, but like I'm used to being salesperson of the month everywhere I go. Different states, doesn't matter. Different brands, doesn't matter. Breaking records doesn't matter. Small dealership, big dealership, what doesn't matter. I know a lot of top people now, they will only do the circuit in the top 15. They're only going to Chicago, they're going to Texas, Cali, you got the one in Long Island or Atlanta, right? I mean, or obviously Florida too. Florida. Whoa. I don't know. Like, I'm getting some crazy calls here. Anyway, so I'm one of the only people that I know that has been able to do it, dealership after dealership, state after state. I'm probably the strongest, in my opinion, one of the strongest free agents out there that has been able to do it without a book of business, without help from the desk, I've had heat from the desk. So what happens is a lot of times, in my opinion, a lot of times what happens is they'd rather have 3 people selling 10 cars because of pay plans, because of all kinds of different things, right? And sometimes they want control and stuff, and this goes to Gary Vee's point, right, about control and freedom and stuff like that. You can be making a lot of money, but you're just chained to the desk, or you're chained to a job, or you're on the road all the time. You never see your family. It's like like I said, the great general manager that I used to work with. It's like, if you want to make $5 million in the car business, or if you want to make $1 million in the car business, John, you better make 5, because you'll spend 4. And I always thought that was crazy. Like, I save money. Like if I make this, I want to live here, right? I learned that from my dad. You always try to have money and be financially smart about everything, right? And so, so a lot of people in the car business, they can flash or have flex, but and again, there's so many things to talk about. And I'm not making any generalizations, but I think where tech makes a mistake is they don't understand the insane sales skills and people skills and product demonstration or knowledge skills that people in the traditional automotive space have. And that's huge. People sell to people. People buy from people. That is true today. That has been true for thousands of years, and will be true in the future. So you can have all the techs, all the bots, all this, whatever, but you will still, I'm not saying you can't win, but you can win better with people that can really sell. Right? So both are true. And so in that model, they think about, hey, I'd rather have 3 people that sell 10 cars and 1 person sells 30 cars. Because there's times where I believe, in my personal opinion, I don't know but I think I made more than the general manager, right? And then when we start making big money, people, why? I'm only getting a percentage. You made the pay plan. I'm only getting a percentage. The house is getting way more percentage. I'm making you money. Like, who cares? If I were you, I'd have 3 of me, 4 of me, 5 of me. I mean, then you can go play golf. You can go do whatever you want to do. You're cool. You don't have anything to worry about. Now, a couple of the people that are really great in the business, they get that, and that's why I like dealing with them. But there's a lot of people that don't get that, are afraid of that. There's a saying in the car business, I'm going to get it a little bit wrong. I want you to be successful, just not better than me, or something like that. Or I can't remember. I always have it on the tip of my tongue, and I'm forgetting it exactly, but you get the gist of it. And so that's the car business. But people sleep on how the skills, the people skills, the sales skills that are in that business. So I have tremendous respect for those people, because they make it happen. They go through they deal with all kinds of stuff to make it happen. Realtors, I'm sure it's the same thing. Anyone in the sales game, right? Any people at Salesforce, SaaS, I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen. People, I remember, people doing deals, people selling Knox or selling Sun, Cisco, Oracle, reselling that type of, all kinds of things, all the servers down, all the Knox down, all, the data center, all kinds of things happen on it. Now, okay, but here's what I said specifically about getting hung up on customer experience and then Brian was talking about, and I don't want to put him on, I want to focus on that, but was talking about passion over focusing on money. I'm like, look, you work. We all have our things. Of course, you need to be passionate and stuff like that. But they call it work for a reason. People work for money, right? I try to overpay people, right? I want people incentive. I want the best. I want the best of the best of the best, right? I want to pay for talent because I know what talent does. It's what they call it. And that's why you give stock options in Silicon Valley, right? I learned that in Silicon Valley. I've learned that all my life. I've always been that way, right? I've always, with sports, been a national champion, stuff like that. I want to be around the best. I want to be around the smartest. I want to be around the most motivated people. If you're paying people a lot of money, what do you have? Golden handcuffs. They don't want to go anywhere, right? Come on, let's clap for that. Come on. So there's a dude that's making insane. I knew one of the best in the best. I worked with the best, the number one in the country for many, many years in Texas. He hasn't moved dealerships because he doesn't. Why would you? That dude's making, I have no idea. I'm not his accountant, but come on. Like, I know what I did. And, so there you go. It's like, yeah, so that's what makes sense. That's how you have stability. That's how you have people that are good. That's how you have, the car business has so much turnover. They have so many things that they need to address that are going to get addressed, right? In one way or the other, but it's still, and that's sales in general. Okay. So, but here's what I have to say. And this is probably going to say it better. I'm like, hey, Bob Lanham, another point I'll likely talk about on the show tomorrow is your question about customer experience. I think customer experience is super important. Absolutely. But it also doesn't happen in a vacuum. And again, you have to understand what that means to the customer, not so much to you or anyone, you know what I mean? And it's different. It's different for different customers. So modern retail isn't the customer experience for all customers. Traditional isn't the customer experience for all customers. Lowest price, no salespeople. There's different things for different people. You have to be, that was one of the things that I was so good at because my peers, I went to law school at top law school. I went to business school, and I understood the buyers for luxury. I understood the sales. I grew up, pretty poor, honestly. I grew up in a rural town, Western Pennsylvania, stuff like that. I've seen it. I've seen all kinds of different things, right? So I can relate to all kinds of different people, and I could shift gears, and I can understand. I said when I train anybody on sales, the number one most important thing you have to understand is what does that person want? You need to read the person. I'm not talking about, you're going to put them together. That's a car saying, or you're going to, poker playing or anything like that, or setting them up. Just understand. Just have a conversation. That's why I'm a talk show host. I love to talk to people. Like, here we go. Okay, yeah, Ricky, what's up? Yes, I am. Hey, Paul, we're going to start talking about, we're going to do some sports. We're going to get some of that going on here. We're going to talk about different things. We are going to do more on sports. Right now we're on the car stuff, so we're gonna hammer on that. But you have to, let me get back to that. There's so much flow here that I've got so much information we got to deal with. But appreciate you, Jo. Appreciate you, Ricky. Definitely appreciate the audience out there. You have to read the person. What do they want? Why are they there? No one's coming to hang out with you. Maybe you make a friend, everything like that. It's like, make a friend, sell a car. Of course, but why are they there? How can you help them? What are they trying to accomplish? And it's different for different people. And you have some people, the super closers, the big, I don't want to name names and stuff, but I went to this dealership and I trained them, and that day I closed 100% of the people. Okay, maybe. I haven't seen the person yet that's closed 100% of the. If two people walk in the door, maybe. I haven't seen the salesperson, sales trainer, sales manager, general manager, anybody that let's say there's going to be 40 ups coming to the door that closes them all. Never seen that. I've never seen anyone get 50% ever, anywhere. Ever heard of it? Ever seen? I've heard of it. I haven't heard of it credibly, in my opinion. I haven't seen it. I'm sure there's stories out there, but come on, dude. I mean, like, look, here's real. It's like baseball. Actually, that's a really good analogy. In baseball, not so great hitter is going to get, you have batting averages, right? So out of 1,000, which is 10 at bats, whatever like that, what's your batting average? And if you hit 200, that means you only get on base 2 times out of 10 at bats. That's not so great, right? I mean, whatever. And there's people that are lower, there's people that are higher. If you're great, you're hitting 300, which is you're on base 300. So the difference between, if you look at it different ways, a 300 hitter is 50% better than a 200 hitter, but in reality, you're only added 10% more, right? And that's kind of sales, right? So, I mean, if 10 people hit the door and you close one of them, you're 10% closer. If 10 people hit the door, you close 2 of them, you're 20% closer. I think averages, I can't remember, it's different for luxury and different brands, but I think averages, let's just call it 20%, right? And I think on ups at one point, I may be wrong. Don't hold me. This is my recollection. I think at some point I was like somewhere between 35 to 50%, 40, 50%, which is insane. That's insane, right? Is that sustainable? Whatever. So I was clearly better, significantly better than anything close to average, obviously, and that's why I was what I did, what I could do, and did what I did. But that never, ever did I ever think I'm going to close 100% of the people that come in here. Did I get mad at it? No, you can't, because it could. Listen, it could be the first dealership they were. I mean, you're going to hear all the overcome the object. I know. If you ask the right question, I know. Guess what? Not everyone buys a car like that. And it's okay, but guess who had one of the highest, they call them be-back, repeat customers to come back? This kid, because you have to, what did you do? You read what they were doing. You figured out why they're there. Why are you here? How can I help you? Okay, cool. You don't want pressure? No problem. Let me give you information. Then you come back. Just like I'll come back to someone that helped me out. I might not be ready to buy now. Maybe it's a month from now. Maybe I need my tax return. Maybe I need, whatever it is. Maybe I need it. Maybe I need, talk to my wife, my husband, my friend. Think about it. Sleep on it. Anything, everything. It doesn't matter, right? There's all kinds of different reasons. If you're helping people, then it's cool. If you try to force people into your way of doing things, and people don't like it. So yes, that is where there is an opportunity for a better customer experience. Absolutely, for Carvana, so that whatever, because they're not going to. I don't know, but I wouldn't expect you're not going to be trapped at a dealership. They're not going to bug you, for whatever. If you're not ready now, I can go look at a Tesla now, or go look at a Carvana, and then I can come back and whatever. So yes, all those things are real, need to be disrupted, but there's many different sort of, I would think, logical fallacies. One of the things I said to Brian Kramer about that point, in my opinion, I'm not putting, again, him on blast or anything like that. It's a discussion. That's all it is. I may be right. I may be wrong. I mean, he's an expert too. So it's nice to have a discussion and different points of view. So what I said is, think about the customer. Okay, this is what I said to Bob. Hey, Bob, another point about the show. I'll probably have to wind it down to lose my voice. Is on customer experience. I think customer experience is super important, but it doesn't happen. And Bob Lanham is the head of automotive retail at Meta, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger. It doesn't happen in a vacuum, nor by itself. Nor by itself is necessarily sufficient explanation and examples. And again, this is my Silicon Valley, MBA, all that type of story, explanation and example. Background. The case of why Carvana and Mono Retail is so valuable and a competitive advantage is that the traditional car buying system was frankly awful, according to surveys, in my opinion, for most buyers. Long buying process, high pressure sales, afraid you'll get a bad deal, etc. Many new entrants into the auto market disrupted that model from different angles. Most of us here, because we had auto experts, know that. So I'm not going to go over basic, more understood stuff. From Tesla, CarMax, Carvana, subscription models, and it continues today. But is customer experience enough or always the dominant competitive advantage? See, that's the question. And I don't think that it always is. And when I say this, you're like, it's almost like a post-it note. It's like, oh, of course, right? But again, it's all, customer experience is everything. This dude says it, so we all have to do this. Okay, what are you going to do when you go back? Oh, numbers, and you're going to do what you've always been doing because you got to get the numbers, right? So it takes time. It's like shifting these things. the dealerships do not operate like startups, in my opinion. Shifting them, the best can do it. It's tough. It's super tough though, right? And it's almost like any large organization. It's like trying to move, a big ship. It takes a while, right? Now, so here's I said I'm not so sure. Examples, right? Explanation. Okay. Explanation background. I think the case. Okay, I said all that. Okay, perfect. Examples. Traditional dealer X has the best customer experience. I've seen this. Right? I've seen this. Oh, we'll shuttle customers back and forth for service. We'll do this and this and this. And I had someone even say like, yeah, we're not a car dealership. We're like, we're a tow service now. Like, it's crazy. And they had to make some, that all that costs money. Everything costs money, right? So who's paying for that? Ultimately, customers are paying for that, right? It has to be. I've seen this model work, but typically as a second tier in the market. Never number one in volume. I've never seen super high service and be number one in volume. Right? Now, that's me personally. I'm not saying it doesn't exist out there, but that's just, so it's usually more of a niche premium product. Four Seasons, Cartier, things like that. And that's great. That's a lane. That's a very important lane, right? And you can say, but you are usually going for premium product, premium profits and margins, but high touch service. It's hard to kind of hang in between. Like you have some, kind of in that, like if we were talking about retail stores, somewhere between like maybe a Macy's and a Nordstrom, right? But you're usually like that middle market's harder to deal with sometimes. Okay. Example 2, if that's not enough. B, Carvana sells used cars. Next year for 2023, Elon and Tesla drop a cutting edge electric car with an 800-mile range. And I said this last night, and oh, surprise, here I see this article. I didn't even see this before, that a Model S goes 752 miles with a prototype battery for Michigan startup. That's Car and Driver by Joan Volker, January 5th. I just looked that up today. And so, but who knows what that'll cost. But in my example, 800-mile range per charge, costing $10,000, and they can deliver 10 million cars that year. Oh, by the way, I think the new car market, let me say this. Yeah, I forgot to put this on the table too. Toyota topped GM in the U.S. for car sales in 2021. And I think the total car sales last year in 2021, where was it? 15 million. Just under 15 million new cars, right? So sometimes it's between like 14 and 17, some is the high. So if you're selling if Tesla's dropping 10 million new cars, this is all hypothetical, not real, all hypothetical, right? That year at $10,000 per car, and they can do an 800-mile range, guess what's going to happen to the new car market? Guess what's going to happen to the used car market? Now, who cares about customer experience now? Right? You can have the best customer experience. Your buying audience just may have shrunk dramatically, right? So it's not saying customer experience doesn't really matter. I'm saying that you can't always say, that's it, that's the North Star, this is gonna be the one thing that's gonna do it. You can have the best customer experience, but what if you have a product that people don't want? Or what if someone else has a product that they really want, right? Another example, example C. Apple drops a new phone. This is everything I wrote on Bob Lanham's post. You can see it on LinkedIn. Apple drops a new phone, or Xbox, or Sony drops a 6th generation console. Customers wait in line overnight in the cold across the nation to get them. Who cares about customer experience now? I mean, people hate waiting for 3 hours, 4 hours to buy a car. I think that's too long. There's people waiting overnight for the new iPhone. People waiting overnight for the new Xbox or PlayStation. It happens all the time, dude. When they, so. Or rather, as customer experience appears less important than the product in this case, same can be said of traditional holiday sales. People will, go for the holiday sales. Maybe less so now, right? But it traditionally. Example D, Disney can have hours-long lines. We were in those lines, right? Happily so. We had a great time with our family earlier last year for the best rides. Surprise! People wait in those lines while less fun rides have much shorter lines. Example E, price, right? So we talk about product, how product might overtake customer experience as the most dominant buying factor. Now we talk about price, right? Gas station Z, and I'm making extreme examples to make the point. This will still work on the margins, right? And I'll talk about that in a second as we wind things down. Gas station Z drops the price of gas to 50 cents a gallon for all fuel grades. Doesn't matter. Regular, premium, mid-grade, whatever. How long do you think their line would be? How long until they sell out? I predict hours-long lines, and they're selling out like today, right? So I think you get my points. The correct answer, in my opinion, is not always customer experience. The correct answer is it almost always depends on many factors: product, market, competitors. Carvana has a lot of advantages and disadvantages to their business model, in my opinion. Their advantages, in my opinion, are relatively easier to duplicate, but their disadvantages are less transitory, in my opinion, right? So that's what you have to think about and consider, in my opinion, some of these things. Now, does that mean Carvana is not going to be successful? No, but they're still losing money. So what's the play? At what point do they become more profitable? Well, they got to build out, they're spending money. Okay, maybe. I mean, we'll see. I'm sure. Listen, I know they have a lot of smart people over there. I know they've raised them. I'm sure they have got great people working on great things, but a lot of people are. I mean, Apple might get in the car game. Waymo, I know I've got some top execs of Waymo on my LinkedIn, stuff like that. Kavak is doing big things in Latin America. I was lucky enough to listen to the CEO of Kavak on the SoftBank Operator School. Tesla, Lucid, so many. And GM, I forgot about this. I forgot to mention this. GM electric truck. Oh my gosh, right? This thing is just looking insane, right? This thing is a Silverado. I mean, this thing is insane. Car and Driver, here we go. Let's talk about this. I mean, this is a big deal. It's January 5th. Carlos Lago, 2024 Silverado, 664 horsepower, 400-mile range. I think this is so smart, right? I mean, the truck market is, the domestic truck market is where we have dominance, and this is where, would you rather have a Silverado that's electric with 400-mile range or Cybertruck? No offense to Elon. Elon, you're great, for sure. You're amazing, unbelievable entrepreneur, right? Massive, mad respect for you, bro. But I'd rather have an electric Silverado than a Cybertruck, right? And so, that's just me, right? And so, this thing has, because what's great about the electric is you can have that massive torque and stuff, which is with the electrics, which is so important to trucks and stuff. So there's a lot of exciting things that are happening, tremendous things that are happening with subscription and different things that are happening right now in this business. And we're going to see more and more of it. But it comes back to this. Used cars are 3 times new cars. People are still doing stuff in used cars. Right now, there's a chip shortage. There's inventory shortage. There is going to be business model disruptions. There is going to be innovations. You still need salespersonship. It's more important than ever. I think that is a lost art. I talked to a top GM and it's like, yeah, they call them business order takers. People don't understand how to sell. You have to sell. You have to sell everything. Anything you're selling, I don't care. I don't care if it's whatever it is. It doesn't matter what sector. It could be in space. It could be a car. It could be SaaS. It could be technology. It could be data centers. It could be blockchain. You have to sell it. You have to be a salesperson, right? So it's not just business models. Business models are important. Business models are great. Customer experience. So that's what I want to hammer on real quick before we wrap it up. Customer experience. You know how many people I've seen that had bought 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, their family, from a dealership. They come in this time. I'm the sales manager. Hey, so-and-so won't give me the right price. I need this price. I look at it. We'd love to earn your business, but things have changed and there's different programs and I can't be there. I can be here. Well, dealership X is going to beat about $5. Can we keep your business? Nope, see you later. And this is a hypothetical. It's fictitious. But that kind of thing, dude, how many deals get lost over $10 a month, $20 a month? All the time. Are you kidding me? And that's on luxury. Depends on what, it could be $5 a month if you're a mass market. Who knows? And I'm not folding anyone money's money. At the end of the day, these are the same cars. So I've said that so many times. Like, I think, look, you can have the best customer service in the world. You can have the best customer experience. I've told us to GMs, I said, listen, as good as I think I am, as amazing as I think I am, and there's things that I think I can bring to the table that a lot of, this is my opinion, a lot of salespeople in the car game maybe can't. Like, hey, I know how I can get you in the right car. I can figure out this and that. Or hey, I can keep you apprised of this one's coming. I help you. I'll come to your house. I'll pair your phone. I'll do whatever. All these things that you're willing to do for extra super premium service, whatever it is, right? And the more high end you are, the more bespoke that needs to be. And that is important for a lot of people. Listen, like I said, some of these people, doctors, lawyers, CEOs, executives, bankers, all of it, tech executives, their time could be worth $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 an hour for sure, right? So it's not immaterial, it's very material. But even with all of that being said, blended up, I've always believed that, look, Ricky, absolutely. Your personal brand. I'm going to cover, listen, I'm developing courses. I'm going to cover all this stuff. This is important. I'm going to I have to figure out what I'm going to price this and that. But, and again, we're not promoting here. We're going live on LinkedIn, whatever. But I'm just information. I'm going to work on things. This is important. This is very, very important, right? Personal brands. We talk about this on LinkedIn all the time. We talk about this on YouTube. Extremely important. And I would do that. And people, even my audience, they get tired of me talking, right? And, you're bragging. What you just said there, Ricky, right here is so critical. You have to sell yourself. You have to be a brand. That is invaluable. And the dealerships that get mad or companies that get mad at employees doing this are crazy, in my opinion. If you value your employers, if you lead with empathy, if you're a servant leader, whatever you are, you should love this. You should love this, right? You should love this. Come on. Your people, it's people and people. That's it. It's all that it is. People aren't buying for your dealership. I know there's some of the dealerships I know that's all about the dealership name. You can't even find their team on their website. That's crazy. That makes no sense. They don't let you don't have as much social media. That makes no sense. It doesn't make, come on, that's game over, dude. Come on, dude. It makes no sense to me. This right here, people buy from people. People want to connect with you. I have had people that would pay more to buy from me. But as I said, in my opinion, I think I'm worth, in the car market, in luxury today, because it's so competitive, the margins are so compressed. I think I'm worth 500, maybe 2,000 on most deals. Now, what I'm extremely good at is selling the super high-end stuff, the super premium stuff, right? I'm talking like ultra high luxury to exotic or super exotic, right? I own that market, right? In my opinion, I can crush it, and then those numbers are very, very ridiculous. And so, against other, and I've proven that. I've proven to be super profitable. In my opinion, right? Benchmarked against, industry standards or others or peers or something like that. And I've shown that. I've got the metrics to do that. And that's why, this is the thing. That's why I've been able to change jobs. There's different, that's a whole other thing. Because I've branded myself and I have the metrics. And the reason why people will always pick up the phone to call me or take my call, or I can always get a job, is because I make money, in my opinion, right? And that's it. So that gets to the customer experience. What do people want? People want to be sold to. There's so many different cars out there. I have a hard time keeping up. If you're a busy executive, do you want to spend 100 hours, 20 hours, 10 hours of your time at $500, $1,000, $2,000 an hour trying to figure out what's going to work, what's best, what's cool, how it's going to fit your lifestyle, mess with all of it, set it up, dial it in, or would you rather pay a little bit more for someone to hook you up? That's obvious. And people get all twisted sometimes, in my opinion, about like, dude, people will pay all kinds of money to go to a fancy restaurant. Like, I've seen some of these people drop $500, $1,000 on a meal and some drinks and stuff like that. So who cares if you pay an extra $500 to get the car that you want from who you wanted to, dialed in the way that you want, faster, better, whatever like that. So It's value. It all comes back to the same thing, and it's always different. That's why you have to be versatile and flexible and understand your customer. A computer doesn't understand your customer. Oh yeah, we got algorithms and we got AI. And okay, sure, maybe. What if that was my kid looking at the stuff? Not me. You know what I mean? Like, my daughter comes over and starts doing something like, I don't know. So, it's, yes, I love tech. I love AI. I love all of that. And all that stuff's important. But that's not enough. That's not all of the game. That's not the entire game. It's not. It's just not. And particularly when it comes to high-end stuff, that's touch and feel. Cars are a need for transportation. So there's a necessity aspect of it, but nobody needs a Ferrari. The higher up you go, almost the more impractical a lot of these things are. So anytime you're selling luxury, I would say mid-range up, right? But certainly luxury, ultra luxury, high-end luxury, etc. Exotic, it's like art. You're selling emotion. You're selling a dream. But that doesn't mean it's fictitious, right? A lot of this stuff, there's some incredibly well-built luxury cars, exotic cars. There's some of these cars, like, it's unbelievable what they can do. It's insane. You could say the same with the jets, the yachts, houses, all of it. So it's all good, right? And why would someone pay $60 million for a painting? But they do. Not every day, but that's worth it to somebody. Would I pay that? Absolutely not. You could give me almost any amount of money, I would never pay it. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. Doesn't mean I don't think it's great. But differences. So it all comes back down to this: value, delivering value, adding value equals revenues. That's it. Customer experience is part of that value, but it's not all the value. It's part of the value. And that's what I have to say about that. Now, so much more to talk about. There's no question about it. Just so much more to talk about. I hope that gives some insight, and I hope that makes sense to my tech friends out there, my automotive friends out there, obviously the audience out there, and everything like that. Lots more to talk about on that. But yes, the automotive business is going to be disrupted. It has been disrupted. It will continue to be disruptive. The new players in here, if you're just a business model and hey, we're going to automate stuff and get rid of salespeople, save the money, have better reconditioned cars, but just it's all online. I don't know. I'm sort of neutral on Carvana. There's people that are against. I'm like, I'm okay either way. I haven't really followed it that much, but I know there's a lot more deeper. It doesn't mean I can't learn a lot from them. Doesn't mean I'm not impressed by a lot of things like that. To me, I'm more interested in like what Tesla and CarMax is doing, what GM is doing now, Rivian, Lucid. I'm more interested in that stuff. Interested in what Kavak's doing, for sure. So, again, I'm not, there's a lot to know about there. And listen, there's always more to learn. I love to learn. I love everything. So it's all positive. It's all love. It's all good. Appreciate you. Love to see the comments. Anything you guys have to say. Also, we maybe, we'll see where I'm at with what the kiddo wants to do. And I have to take a very important phone call, but later. But we might do some live art either later tonight or certainly over the weekend. And we have lots more business. So I appreciate you. Ricky, Jail, thanks so much. Thanks everyone out there. Bob Lanham of Meta, thanks so much for a great topic and kicking things off, and hopefully I was able to contribute some to that, and love to have you on the show sometime. Same thing with Brian Kramer and all the other great auto experts out there on my LinkedIn, so I appreciate everyone out there. I am John D. Villarreal. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, right? And we'll have the fireworks as we go out. I appreciate it. It's 2022. We're going to make this a great year. I appreciate you, and thank you, Melon. Appreciate that long-term sponsorship with them, so we appreciate that. All right, everybody. I'll see you soon.